Perhaps Deputy Stanton would just come back in to ask a question that he has there.
Just very briefly, I want to know whether or not voluntary whistleblowers have ever assisted or the Pensions Board or offered to assist the Pensions Board. Is this provided for under the Pension Acts if somebody comes forward with an issue? And has it ever happened?
Okay. Senator Leyden, briefly.
Well, I'll be as brief as I can, Chairman.
I
just want to say thank you for first of all. I'm here. I'm sorry I went to a vote in the Shannon. I'm delighted that there are so many senior people here today, particularly Brenda Kennedy of the Pension Board, the Revenue Commissioners, Department of Social and Family Affairs, Department of Finance. And I'm here to raise the issue of the fact that I believe the Pension Board has been very inactive in relation to the needs of a pension scheme for local authority members. There are roughly 900 local authority members who have no pension scheme whatsoever, and their state, working for the state, working on behalf of the public, they get a small remuneration which is regarded as a representative allowance. But when I was a councillor, it was in my pay sheet as pay. Now, they're not members of any pension scheme. You, the Pension Board, have done nothing about it, and you've absolutely ignored it as far as I'm concerned. The Department of Finance have been accused of preventing the Minister for Local Authority, Local Government, in bringing forward this particular idea. The Department of Social and Family Affairs won't allow them to register on the higher rate of PRSI, which will allow them to qualify for a state pension when they get to 65. And yet, these are people who are serving the public, as you and I are. But you and I and our colleagues here are entitled to a very generous pension for serving the public if and when we retire from public life. Now, I just feel genuinely that this is an anomaly at this point in time. And nobody's prepared to bell the cat, because the Irish Independent, in an article on the 12th of October 2005, criticised the fact that this pension would be given in light of the difficulties in the health services. And yet, when we have 10 billion raised in taxes last month, the situation is quite appropriate. So just to summarise it, the representations have been made by the LAMA, the policy of LAMA, which is an organisation representing the Local Authority Members Association, supported by the AMIA, Association of Municipal Authorities of Ireland, and the Association of County and City Councils, ACCC, and indeed all my colleagues in the Shannon have been very supportive of this particular issue. But to summarise, Chairman, just to ask the Pension Board, the Department of Social and Family Affairs, and the Department of Finance to give very clear and open consideration to the needs and demands and consideration of councillors who are serving on a full-time basis now, because local authority is becoming very demanding. They're constantly on demand. I was at a meeting last night in Roscommon over the question of water rates on farmers. They were all there. They're out most nights of the week. And yet, after all that, if they get sick or to get to be old age pensioners, they will not qualify for a pension. I think there's an anomaly there. And just to summarise it very quickly, and I've looked at this situation, I'm proposing that the Local Government Superannuation Act of 1980 and the Local Government Consolidation Scheme of 1998 be extended to allow elected members of local authorities the option to avail of the local authority's pension scheme, and that this be pursued in consultation with the council's representative organisation. And I use the word optional because in some cases, some of the councillors are in pension schemes, state pension schemes, whether they're teachers or whether they're working for the state or working for private companies. Some may not wish to opt into a state or another pension scheme operated by local authorities. But I make the point, Chairman, and you as a former councillor and you have family members of the council, as I have, I feel they're getting a very raw deal. And if some employee starts in the council, any job in the local authority, they're entitled to avail of the pension scheme. They want to pay into that pension scheme, Chairman. And yet the Pension Board and the Office of the Revenue Commissioners, the Department of Social and Family Affairs and the Department of Finance will not cooperate in this particular regard. And I think that all of you are entitled to very good pensions, very generous pensions. And yet you don't see it in your heart to provide a service for 900 local authority members who are not being given any support whatsoever. And I think it's a scandal, Chairman. And I came down here today and I'm glad I got the opportunity through your good offices to make the point as a joint committee of the Dáil and Shannon here, to make this point today. I'm sick, tired and sore making representation to the Minister for Local Government in this particular regard, and I'm making a public appeal here to you as decent officials of this state. I'm asking you to give this very careful consideration. I don't expect you to come up with an opinion today. I'm asking you to study this in consultation with your officers and your government and our government to see can something happen to bring this about, and particularly in relation to PRSI, and particularly in relation to a simple, ordinary pension scheme which will be administered by the local authorities and will be contributed to, be a contributory scheme by those local authority members. Thank you very much.
Okay. In any event, I think that we didn't anticipate that was going to come, but anyway, it's an issue that obviously has now been raised. I just want to ask you, because obviously we won't get another opportunity, is it a position that the Pensions Act of 1990 is now outdated and no longer capable of fulfilling